Beaver, away!
Hello everybody, welcome to the Nations Cup. This is the Group E tiebreaker. Portugal versus Sweden. These two teams going to be fighting it out for the number one spot in their group. The winner of this one gets to play the loser of France versus the Netherlands, and the loser of it will have to face off against Poland on the other half of the bracket. My name is Bum and I'm here with Meer, and you can also follow our Twitter, sub to our Patreon, and get in our Discord as well if you want to keep up to date with all the Critscast stuff.
A lot of familiar names on both sides. I'm going to say some veterans coming out of the Sweden side. Not quite the old school Zebozai bunch, but still some big names. And I can imagine these teams going toe to toe. They had a 3-3 game earlier in this competition, and I can imagine they're going to look to sort of replicate that level of closeness as we go into this best of three here.
And we're going to be seeing repeats of some of the maps they played. Snakewater, which is Portugal's pick, and which Portugal won earlier on. Granary, which was Sweden's pick, which Sweden won earlier on. And then the one that neither of them have played against each other yet is Process, going to be the decider.
So on the flank scout is Sui. Pocket scout's going to be Ombra. On Kaya picking up the Roma. Pocket's going to be Alba. Smear, of course, on the demo man. And Medic is going to be Lacuna. Who are we seeing on Team Portugal here, Bun?
Yeah, Portugal. We've got TXX on the Medic, Cooney on demo man, Colline and Haunts, who I've been told off is not Haunter. I got that confused last time. They're on the soldiers. And Wild Piggy and 31 rounding out the scout combo.
We are actually live here. This is ETF2L Nations Cup number 8. It is the Group E tiebreaker. It's Portugal versus Sweden. It's a best of 3. We're kicking it off on Snakewater. In the blue is going to be Sweden. In the red, it's Portugal. And we see Smear and Cooney just rocking up to mid now, looking to deal some damage.
Yep, Smear just popping a bunch of stickies up top, ready and waiting for anyone to bomb forwards. Haunts going straight up sky high, but Cooney's going to be the first one to hold. On Kaya actually rolling out to mid on Snakewater as the heavy. This isn't something we've seen in a while, and it seems to be going very, very well for them. They've got 4 frags. They're just trying to hunt down Colline now, and Haunts is still behind. Can he make anything happen? He's hiding in the enemy choke, but Onkaya's got his Russian eyes watching it. He's just staring him down, mowing him down with the minigun, but Haunts is playing around this crate really well, just spamming the rockets into Kaya. He will bomb out backwards as Kaya tucks into his little lunchbox.
I spent the whole mid giggling to myself. Just on Kaya just walking about like a big fat potato, just gunning down. Did manage to sway the mid in his favour, and Smear going down to 31 there is a really good opening for them. It does mean that they're going to be able to sort of apply a bit of pressure, try and get the force out of Lacuna. Ombra going down, certainly going to support that as well. Smear and Albert down on the side of Sweden, and Portugal going to be able to get up, but Swede comes in, he gets TXX. Well, I managed to get the force here, but it's all falling apart for Portugal. Just 2 players alive. Sweden really solidly on the cap on second here. Doing a bit of a death dance here. Yeah, it's
obviously going to get that frag. And now 4 down going into last, and having a heavy pushing into enemy last is also really good on pretty much any map. So Sweet already tickling the point there, putting a bit of cap time on it. On Kaya putting on the hurt from afar with the heavy. Neither team has Uber right now, but they just need to be able to play the point on the side of Sweden, and it's all over for the first round. 31 coming up on a heavy of his own. Haunts the first one to fall on the last fight here. But all of Sweden just kind of crushed in this big door. They're all playing around each other. Sweet in to see what he can get, but it's not anything at all. So they're just going to fall back to second, Sweden. Let this one rest for a while.
They very bravely choose not to overcommit there, but they have got that 25% Uber advantage sitting in their back pocket. 31 is attempting a bit of a push out in the lobby area, but all of Sweden are meandering their way through lower now. Smear does get Ubered on Ombra going down ultimately to Haunts there. They're in 20% away from Uber, are Portugal here, but they're not converting the frag. Sweden here, they've got no position on last. Smear being collapsed on. Lacuna ultimately goes down, and that's going to be a fail push out of Sweden there. It looked like they wanted to go really hard, really fast, but they've just handed Portugal the full Uber advantage now.
Yeah, disaster there. The Uber was way too split up. They couldn't get anything, but they're already trying for last again. Swede just putting on a bit of cap time, dragging all these players back. Kaya and Alba throwing themselves in. Swede finds the medic TXX, which is really, really useful. A drop as well. That's not what you want to see. That seemed like a free push out of last for Portugal, but TXX dropping there is such a shame.
theoretically, you know, it could have been there, but they've been really slow on the buzzer there, and they've allowed Sweden to get their players up. Now, of course, they've got a very sensible sort of 50% Uber advantage as they've locked off second once again, and Portugal again on the back foot on this last point here. Sweden weren't able to sort of convert that round with the level of momentum we saw them at the start there, but they've got a bit of a time to rethink. They can have another crack at the egg here with the heavy now switched back onto Soldier in Gaia.
Yeah, Kaya back on Soldier this time. The Uber advantage strongly in favour of Sweden. They're getting ready to come through lower here, popping it straight onto Smear and Ombra, running it forwards. Colline going to be the first one to fall once again. They do find TXX with the stickies this time, just Smear camping up the spawn, and now they need to get the cap time in. They're finding all the frags. The only two players are left, Cooney and Haunts, for the side of Portugal. But they're managing to hold their own for now. Cooney bombing back into the fray. Haunts finds Smear as well. They might be able to clutch this. Haunts with a huge rocket onto Swee, bouncing him away, but Swee just manages to stay alive. The respawns are in though, and Alba just not able to find TXX. That's so clutch from Portugal to be able to hold on to that one.
Yeah, Sweden was sort of death-balling it there, but they completely let the time slip out of their hands and allowed the Portuguese players to spawn, and now they're just going all out on this back area. Colline making so much space in the front line. Swee does get taken out really early, as does Onkaya, so the attempt to sort of create a bit of chaos there from Sweden just completely fallen apart as Portugal lock out this second now.
Yeah, and they want to run it forwards by the looks of it, despite the advantage against them. This could blow up in their face if they walk into the med now. They have busted through Saw. They've got Cooney and 31 ready to try and take this, but they go straight into Smear, who Ubers in their face. He's chasing them down. Can he get anything? It's a nice pipe on 31, but there's not much else to be found. Portugal do a good job of scattering. Colline now in behind, taking a 1v1 versus Onkaya, but Swee comes to help out. And now Frag on second, as well as Alba will be falling. Both teams just trying to hold on. There's a scrappy fight happening here on second. Swee dropping down in behind. He's found Cooney. That's the demo man, which is not good news for Portugal. And now he's wrapping up behind. Will he find the med again? Straight onto TXX. He's getting the shots in and he gets the force.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Portugal on paper. You know, they had the players up, they had the Uber advantage, but ultimately they didn't have the health or the position. They just got completely crunched. So many players dying in the back lines and just could not commit forward and just let Sweden crawl all over them. So Sweden netting themselves a little 60% Uber advantage now as Portugal just sort of plopped their asses on second now, building up the Uber charge that Sweden are not looking to slouch about here.
Yeah, Swee even managed to scurry out of that one as well. Alba bombing a bit too far forwards too quickly though. Haunts will get the force onto Lacunia as well as Colline manages to bomb out. If everyone can live here for Portugal, it's not too bad at all. But they are ending up back on their own last, and with only a 50% add, that's not really something you want to be trying to bust out of last with.
No, we're seeing Portugal in a very similar position, no doubt to them, of just holding last and waiting for Sweden to do something. But thankfully, Sweden this time do not have an advantage in hand, so I can imagine it's going to be a bit more of a slow one. Portugal can bide their time a little bit here. Of course, still very early doors in this first map here. They're just sort of feeling each other out. Uber very close to being up and might elect to run something a little bit obtuse here, try and make something happen and apply a bit of pressure to Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden playing ultra far back, just way back on their grass, waiting to get this Uber up. They're making the sensible, safe decision, and 31 is on the sniper. He's going to be taking a peek towards kind of train and hut area as sniper there, just seeing if he can get any angle into lobby, but I don't think Sweden are going to fall for it.
No, certainly not. It's a real sort of staple of these really slow last holds, particularly on Snakewater. It's so flat, and it looks like he nearly gets caught out by Spear there, but manages to survive just another day.
Alba bombing in from lower after Swede feeds as well. This isn't looking good. Smear does manage to pick up 31, which makes it a lot less difficult for them, but still not ideal for Sweden here. Swede kind of looked like he was sacking into maybe going an off class, and then Alba just waddled into a sentry at the same time. And yeah, Alba in fact has come up on the sniper, so we'll see if he can get anything done. Haunts nearly catching Smear there.
Yeah, interestingly as well, he's actually elected to run the Contra as Haunts here, so I can imagine he sort of sat there anticipating this sort of slowdown in the level of play, and it might be a bit of a post-Uber plan when they eventually do sort of push out of this point here. So again, 31 manages to sort of plucks up the sniper again, tries to outsnipe Alba, eats a big fat body shot, and it's going to be a bit of a battle of the Australians here.
Yep, just waiting to see who hits this shot first. Alba and 31 both have their eyes dead set on each other, but no one's hit the shot so far. Smeer putting stickies all around 31, a little carpet under his feet, and gets that frag easily. And they find Colline as well, trying to bust that door. And Cooney falls as well. This is disaster now for Portugal. Smeer and Agmosa making the space. Up top, there is a trade going on. And the conch is out from Haunts as well to maybe try and salvage this. But with the sentry gun down and 3 against 5, what can they manage to do here? Everyone just fighting up on this truck side. Onkaya going to be the first one to fall. Haunts now trading in the same time. Umbra trying to play the point, but he goes down as well. And it looks like Portugal might be holding on to this one again. They find the Cunha, they find Smeer. It's only Sui left alive. And Portugal, from the clutches, from absolutely nothing, they manage to hold on once again with everything against them.
Again, just a huge neglect of Sweden on these spawners here. They're just not able to get any position whatsoever. Once they use into this last, they're just taking their time, and Portugal's spawners come in and just sweep them there. And again, TXX survivors. Lacunia does not, so they've got an uber advantage in hand. Let's hope they don't squander it this time around.
Yeah, they do find a frag each for these sides now, and Sweden look like they want to play around grass. They're just kind of both feeling each other out. Onkaya jumping forwards, lands behind on Colline, but gets immediately taken down.
TXX, no! Sui gets in. TXX was 97%. He just could not get anyone on that beam and goes down so painfully close to Uber. Portugal so weak. They're gonna have to scurry their way back to last to Sweden once again in the all-familiar position of staring down the barrel of Portugal's last, and this time again, a full Uber advantage. No time for Portugal to fortify their defences here.
Yeah, TXX only just spawned now, so there's not even heals in the play, and now they do use in immediately again. Sui doesn't manage to get that kill. The reset bind too strong. Wild Piggy gonna fall. Haunts as well now, but is it enough? Umbra playing the point, Onkaya bombing it too, and that's enough cap time to finally take that first round over the line for Sweden.
Yes, so many opportunities for Sweden that I'm very surprised to see it take sort of 10 minutes to convert that. So going into second mid now, Onkaya not opting to run the potato mid again. He has switched back to Soldier here, and Sweden, the ball very much in their court here as they sort their way into mid.
Yeah, and if Portugal are expecting a heavy mid again, they might misplay this by trying to counter it. And in fact, it's a very fast bomb from Onkaya immediately, and Alba both landing on TXX, but neither managing to land rockets. They finally do, and the rest of Sweden have already come over the point instantly. They're taking all the ground, all the space. Colline now bombing in with Haunts, and they do manage to find the medic in return, but it's not enough to win the mid. They do salvage that even situation, but Smeer and Sui still live at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was a really huge bomb from the soldiers out of Sweden. They nearly completely incapacitated Portugal's players there and still managed to get the medic in spite of all that. And the collapse was just so easy for Sweden there, ultimately failing to keep Lacunia alive in the outlast of it. And Portugal are actually pushing out lower with their scouts. This is a bit of an interesting one. They know the medic isn't there. TXX being completely chunked by Albert. He's managed to pick up 31 as well. It's a complete collapse. They're getting absolutely crunched.
Yeah.
Ultimately going down for Sweden as well.
Yeah, it's not ideal though, because Lacunia is the one that stays alive, and Wild Piggy just gets 2v1 there on the point. And from here, as long as Lacunia stays alive, they should just slow this down now. Sweden, they've got another advantage to play with. Hopefully they can convert this one. It was a nice try from Portugal, but as soon as they lose their medic there, it goes from interesting to a disaster. And now they are once again back on their own last, as you say. We'll see if Sweden can convert once again, or if we do see Portugal clutch this one out.
I'm hoping at this stage Sweden would have learned from their mistakes. It looks like they want to go pretty fast with it. Uber popped out straight away. Smeer skip onto the point, gets those sticky steps, and he's really shutting down this right side. Managed to get Cooney near instantly. Horns landing on top of the roof. Sweden have taken this right side area now. They're just looking to spam out, but they've got to respect the spawn out of Cooney here. They're playing the point straight away. Everyone collapses, and ultimately Umbra just stands on the point, and Portugal just can't collapse soon enough there. As the cap time early on from Smeer just proves too great there.
Yeah, as soon as you kill Cooney there, it's in the bag. It seems you've both ended up with kind of one half of last, and there's no demo man to defend it with those stickies. You can just play the point and kind of block the enemy team from stopping you. We'll see what Sweden opt for this time, if they'll go for another fast mid. Looks like Onkaya jumping forwards into the enemy team straight away. Hits that first nice rocket onto TXX, who's managing to dodge about on the point, but does get taken down by Smear. Eventually, Colline now bombing forwards, does find Lasunia with that last rocket, and now it's Cooney and Colline versus Ombra. Can he 2v1 this? Running forwards, he does find Colline first. Cooney needs to keep his distance. Scout versus Demo Man, not a useful 1v1 to be taking. He is just managing to force Ombra back with these stickies. But now, Ombra, he gets the pack, he's running forwards. He's able to just get on the point. I think Cooney knows when this battle is lost. He's gone back to play with his team. And now, 31 in. The backup is here. Alba bombing forwards as well. Looks like Portugal have their hold on this for now, but the spawns are here for Sweden.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a second mid-fight before the first one's even ended here. Smear is up on top, applying huge damage to those scouts. Ultimately does get picked off, as does Horns going really deep there. Alba's causing a little bit of chaos. Managed to get TXX in the melee there. Ultimately going down, but really solid output
Colline
from
in
him.
behind.
Colline on the point.
He does get it! That's so good! Okay, he manages to salvage it, but every single time we've seen this, it's been a salvage from Portugal that still leaves them on the back foot slightly. Sweden have just been out on top in all of these, and Swee, oh, Haunts with the nice shot there to keep himself alive, but Swee found the better frag of the demo already on second, and Sweden are just in the driver's seat for this whole game, it seems like. Even when something like that happens, Haunts manages to get the frag. He really desperately needs it. The last second, it's not enough to keep them going forwards. They just end up slightly less bad than they would have been.
Yeah, as we touched on in the start, you know, Smear coming in is really just mean that Sweden are just taking these solid points. They're taking very little risk. We're never seeing them on their side of the map, and it's serving them pretty well here as they've managed to get 2 really solid rounds. Slow, albeit, but it doesn't matter how fast they are. They're up. So Portugal definitely sort of gonna have to be the ones to instigate here as Sweden's momentum bundles, and it looks like they do that with a really quick Uber out. The running across point managed to get Smear really early. They one going down. Cooney has been trapped in by Alba. There's a bit of chaos.
Oh, that's a disaster. He had no one to run out of the Uber with because Cooney had bombed behind. He was left high and dry all alone, and with 4 Sweden players facing him down, that's an easy pick for them. It seemed like Portugal didn't quite have the right idea with that Uber. They failed to even find where the medic was. It was such a tiny advantage. They really needed to focus the senior, but they didn't see or find him. Haunts him with the bomb. He does manage to pick up the medic, and Colline finds Smear as well, but will this be enough for Portugal to recontest second? They've got 2 scouts on the beam, always really nice to have in a combat scenario, and it looks like Sweden are just gonna back this, regroup, and get ready to push all together at once. Swee barreling in, Alba in with the sack as well while Medic is distracted. They both just land on TXX, an easy frag for them in the end. Wild Piggy will be cleaning up Swee, but Sweden have what they wanted.
You can see a real differential in the coordination here. Sweden just seem to make something out of nothing when no advantages are in their favour whatsoever. Is he going to do it again?
Oh no! At least his entire team can do what he doesn't manage to, but Luquinha with the sword will take down Haunts there. And finally, Portugal actually looking like they can walk forwards into the enemy half of the map for the first time in 17 minutes.
Yeah, they certainly need to deny these spawners, which they haven't managed to. Just Luquinha missing, so if they pile their heals forward, try and protect them as they come in, it could prove well to them. But Swee's sniping the forward spawn, so that's a definite unknown quantity for them.
Yeah, he takes his first shot though. Now everyone knows Cooney just locking that one down with stickies, but it's giving the time for Sweden to at least poke around on second here. They do get enough space for Onkaya to bomb through, and that bomb makes the space. Everyone's walking forward. Sweden looking like they might want to contest this, but in the end they decide the safe option is to get back to last. And when Portugal was so dominant on this map last time, and it's their pick, they really need to convert this one immediately. They do have the Uber advantage. They're walking it in now, but it's only 80% for Luquinha. They need to focus him down immediately. 15%, 10%. The advantage is closing. 31 playing the point, but the Uber's going to be up for Sweden any second now. No! 99 and he dies. Portugal get it. Oh my goodness. That is such a misplay from Sweden. Their med takes one step too close and he falls and gifts Portugal the round. That is not what you want to see, but this is Portugal getting back into the game with 12 minutes left.
Yeah, real lapse in judgment from Sweden there. You know, they didn't know whether they wanted to protect the medic or the point, and they failed to do both ultimately there as we roll out to our fourth mid-fight. Albert seemingly going very quickly into the kitchen of Portugal there. As Melee Swee is so far over the top. Portugal concentrating themselves on this right-hand side, managed to pile on in. They're so deep on Sweden, so much damage. The scouts are piling into them. 31 and Piggy. Just Ombra remains. The two soldiers behind have had no impact so far, but what they are is healthy as they pile in on these scouts.
Two soldiers versus two scouts though. Wild Piggy does take down Albert, and now it's in the 1v1. Kaya gets meat shot as he bombs forwards, but does get a nice rocket onto Piggy. Who's going to hit this next shot? Kaya jumps out. The pack's not quite up yet. He does now refill his health, but both players don't want to play this. Looks like we're going to another mid-fight again. Both teams just recombining their strength, just waiting these out for the respawns. Portugal getting a bit of time on the point, but Swee is hiding in kitchen. This could be a deadly assassin play. He strikes, he finds Colline, but it's not going to go well for him. Onkaya's bombed forwards as well. They do find Wild Piggy on the other side, and in fact, all the frags this time going Sweden's way. They're back in control of this, and it's not what you want to see when you're Portugal.
Oh my god! He gets the market garden onto Albert, all the way back on second. Completely out of the fray. Albert embarrassed himself a little bit there as, in spite of that, Sweden managing to barrel forward. They've got control of second. It's all locked out. Equal Ubers right now. And again, they're staring into the last of Portugal once again and getting it into a sort of winning position as the timer ticks down here.
Portugal just want to go with this, and they drop Cooney from the Uber. Smear had a trap on that door. Wild Piggy gets dropped from it too to the meat shots of Ombra. And now Portugal just running back, using that Uber to retreat only. Not great here, and now Sweden have this entire shutter side to just bust through. They've got all the space. Haunt's getting focused down by the scouts already. Colline does manage to block it for a second by getting onto Ombra, but now both soldiers on the high ground for Sweden. Kaya onto TXX. TXX has no players to keep him alive, but he's dodging, he's juking around. TXX, he does fall eventually in the end, and now it's Smear versus 3. He gets one pipe, but that's not enough. Portugal do manage to clutch it, but they need to get moving. They know what's up next. It's Granary, and Granary was so convincingly Sweden's map last time. They really, really need to be taking Snakewater here. Swee trying to see what he can get done. He's always the first one in. There is contestation on second now, walking in through grass. There are sticks that get debt. No one falls to them though, and now the bombs are coming forwards from Portugal, trying to make all the space. Neither team has Uber once again, and TXX, he dies to Smear. I didn't even see how. Just one pipe finds TXX, and now this is not looking too good, but I say that, and looks like Lacunia has died as well at the same time, so this is absolutely chaotic, Meer.
Yeah, I mean, all of these sort of... wow. In a bit. Horns completely destroys Swee there. A little bit of a sort of a put down there, letting the scouts run the map as they have been thus far. And Portugal ultimately locking out that point, so definitely got to sort of pile their way forward. But they've been losing.
Both teams spawned at the same time with their medics, but obviously the Crits Krieg builds that little bit faster. TXX gonna try and dry bust through grass, knowing that neither team has Uber just yet. They're getting a lot of space actually, Portugal running this one forwards. Haunts bombs in, finds Alba. Colline has landed on the Cunha as well. Doesn't manage to finish it off, but he's out of the fight for now at least. Swee is causing chaos in the backlines, dragging 3 Portugal players back to look for him, and he does eventually get taken down, but the crits are out. Smear finds 2 immediately. The third one going in towards point doesn't quite catch anyone with that, but it's enough. They found TXX, that's what they wanted. Kaya now bombing in, at least blocking the point for a little bit longer. He is going to crater himself to death eventually, but Lacunia actually finding a frag onto the demo, the Crusader's crossbow. Do it yourself if your team can't manage it. And now Sweden once again in control of their own second. They have the crit sad to move forwards again. That was great job from Smear to just catch people off. They were not expecting the Crits Krieg at all.
Certainly not, and that first pipe, its first sticky, just going into the face of TXX, he gobbled it up, and it sort of spelled it as failure for them right from the get-go there as Sweden pushing forward. They're up again on this crit, and Smear has piled in, they've popped it off. They're trying to meet the players lower, haven't managed to find anyone just yet. Haunts in the kitchen area, and then TXX seemingly slipping out. but there are players from Sweden ready to collapse. A bit of a backup attempt going on from Wild Piggy. Ultimately does get shut down by Smear, and they sort of rained on Portugal's parade there. They've slipped away with their 75% Uber.
Yeah, they've managed to bait it up, but Sui is in. Never mind, he hits all the shots he needs. Every time, Sui just barrels forwards and takes down TXX whenever he wants to. And now, all of a sudden, what was looking so good for Portugal is all against them once again. Lacuna already running this through on lower with his Kritzkrieg advantage. The bomb is there to try and shut him down, but it's completely unsuccessful. Cooney also very, very low, scraps of HP there, just fighting it out on the low ground. He's going to get taken down too. Colline at least finds Onkaya on mid. He's kind of behind, doing anything he can to block. 31 now running in, but he's just throwing his life away. Wild Piggy also, the crits is forced out. They find Colline. No. They find so much with the crits. All the players of Portugal falling, only Haunts left alive, and they're just flooding this into last. I see no way they managed to clutch this one out, Meer.
Yeah, it's really gonna be a tough one as Sweden lock out their third round 2-up on Portugal. It just looks like, even when it's looking good for Portugal, TXX just isn't being protected at those all crucial moments, and they're allowing a player like Sui to just sort of roll in at any given time and just get away with everything and nothing. And ultimately never yearning any advantages whatsoever as we roll out into the 5th mid. Just 6 minutes left in this first map here.
Yeah, Portugal need to do something, and they need to do it fast. Alba once again in the enemy kitchen, trying to sneak his way behind. He is now in lower. Onkaya bombs forwards, lands on Cooney, gets domed at the same time by a pipe. Incredible team play from Sweden. They get that first kill there, and they're rolling everything forwards off the back of that. Haunts, the only one alive, still on mid. The rest of the players just fleeing. Sui manages to chase down 31, and now TXX, he needs to get 2 saws here, but he's not even on the saw. He's got the head, and he is just trapped in cheese. He gets taken down. Sad, miserable end to his life as he gets a 15-second long respawn, and Sweden surely have this one in the bag at this point.
Certainly slow. The late death out of TXX really not going to serve them well. Wild Piggy has elected for the spy, interestingly enough. Wants to potentially try and get in on Lacuna, but I think he might be too slow. As he straight out with lower. Smear commits into that left-hand side. Cooney so weak here. No pressure on the point so far, though, but there are, of course, no stickies. Haunts tries to get the funny spoon. Doesn't quite manage it this time around. Just looking to convert these frags as quickly as they can. Getting 3 on Portugal near instantly. TXX so weak, as is Colline. Sweden stand on top of that point. Piggy contributing nothing. The spy just coming a little bit too late. So,
yeah.
There.
Backstab doesn't work against invincible players, unfortunately. So not quite enough with Sweden's huge advantage there. And getting into 4 minutes left, we need to see wipe after wipe after wipe from Portugal to even stand a chance in taking this one. There's a very fast rollout from Haunts, lands directly onto Smear, but only hits the first rocket. Actually, Cooney, with the stickies, does help him out immediately after. Onkaya just getting hovered in the skybox. He's going to fall as well. And now, Portugal, they look like they have a chance to get mid, but Sweden are playing this cleverly. They know as long as they can slow the round down, as long as they can keep it even for another bit. Oh my god, Sweden just annihilates Cooney, who is trying to chase forward. Swede just doesn't die to anything. He takes any fight he wants and he wins it out. Wild Piggy will finally put an end to that madness, but the Uber is coming up for Sweden any second now. As long as they can delay, Portugal have no chance with the little time they have left. They run this forwards into last. The trade is out.
Oh no, it's just the medic forward out of Sweden. He Ubers on nobody. Both his players jump back to spawn. And Portugal have made their way into last, nearly for free. No pressure applied. Double bomb out of Alba and Onkaya. Straight in, managing to shoot these scouts. Managing to get them down. There's a lot of cap presence down for Portugal. Haunts so high in the air, but ultimately gets trumped by those scouts. It's a huge one coming in for Cooney.
Colline against 6. He gets the first 2, but that is nowhere near enough. And I think with that we can call it. I think the first map is Sweden's territory now. Snakewater not going the way that Portugal wanted it to, and Granary is looking dangerous for them. They're looking down the barrel now on the side of Portugal. Let's hope they have something to pull out of the bag coming into the next map, but I don't think it's mathematically possible with this time left. There is still a chance in this round. Looks like they have frag advantage, but Sweden have the Uber advantage. It's probably not going to come out as too much in the end.
Yeah, certainly not. We all know that in order to sort of convert the rounds at this speed, at this stage in the game, not only do you need to play it exceptionally, but the enemy team has to make some seriously huge mistakes here, and the game ultimately there just slipped out of Portugal's hand. They never had any advantages in hand, and when they did, it was completely squandered. And I'm going to credit that mainly to Swede just being a complete menace
yeah.
all the time, just getting away with what no man should be able to get away with.
Yeah, Swede definitely man of the match in terms of impact. I would not be surprised at all to see the logs reflect that as well. He has been a monster so far this game, and if he can carry that one forward, Sweden are going to prove that they deserve that top seed in Group E. Just a reminder of the stakes we're playing for tonight, guys. Everyone has already qualified here. We're just seeing who gets that first and second seed in the group, which will determine their next matchups. I believe the winner gets to play against the loser of France versus Netherlands, and the loser of this match will play against Poland.
Should be quite an interesting round of 16, I would say, and sort of winding down here on Snakewater now. Sweden picking up 4 rounds. Portugal just managing a paltry 1 on their map choice, which is pretty unfortunate for them. And obviously Sweden going into map 2. Granary's their map pick. It's going to be a real tough one for Portugal to come back from.
Yeah, especially with Smear definitely being an upgrade from the Merc they used previously, and of course, it looks like Sweden have just completely changed their playstyle. They've brought new strats, they've brought heavy to mid, which we haven't seen really since Solentes in I-65, which, believe it or not, was 2 years ago at this point. God, how time flies when you're literally locked in a room. And yeah, if Sweden have really gone away and... Nice. If Sweden have gone away and decided on, really looked at their strategies and have these kind of set plays that they're ready to bring out that are going to make them even more dangerous, then that's definitely going to be good for them coming into the playoffs section of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I've played against both these teams personally, and I've played against Sweden on both Snakewater and Granary, and when it comes to Granary, it really is Smear's stomping ground. The impact of Alba and Onkaya is sort of unparalleled on that map. Their coordination, as we saw on this map, is really, really stellar. And on a map like Granary, where you're sort of dealing with a little less geometry, I think it's probably going to come pretty good here. I was hoping to see a best of 3, but I'm finding it hard to envisage we'll see process here.
It definitely looks difficult for Portugal. They're going to have to really bring something out of the bag if they want to stay alive in the second map. We can look at logs for a little bit if you want to, Meer. See who you think was man of the match, if not already decided.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's certainly so. I've just had a little peepers here, and managing to pick up 39 frags and 350 DPM on the flank scout. Those are some insane numbers, considering, he was only playing to the beam really in those team fights. But whenever it wasn't a team fight, he was probably 1v1ing someone, and most of the time winning. So he was the bane of TXX's life there.
God, if you compare these medic stats, it's not a good look for Portugal at all. That's absolutely where they were letting it all go wrong. TXX with 24 deaths to Lusunia's 13.
Oh my god.
And TXX only getting 6 medigun charges compared to Lusunia's combined 17 charges.
Hopefully should see it ready up soon enough. Portugal, no doubt going to discuss what their approach is going to be this time about. The lessons learned can't be too sort of hidden. They're very telling in the logs we looked at just before. And Portugal are going to look to take this to 3 maps. It's going to be process if we do see a third, which I'd love to see. I think that'd be really interesting, particularly with the sort of level of play we're seeing here and the soldiers and scouts particularly.
Yeah, it would make it super interesting that both teams flipped each other's maps as well if we do manage to make it to a third. But it's all eyes on Sweet and Smear. Portugal need to shut them down. They need to stop their medic dying 8 and 7 times to Sweet and Smear respectively. As we do come into the second map here, you're still watching Sweden versus Portugal. This is map 2 on Granary in the Nations Cup 8. Smear considerably faster to mid, already walking up onto the point before Cooney even arrives. But now everyone else arriving into the fray. There's a huge double bomb straight away from Portugal in the skybox. They get Latunia immediately, and 3 frags to boot. They just need to keep their medic alive now. TXX surfing away from Alba very nicely, gets the pack, surfs backwards again, and Portugal, they're starting to make me believe they've already flipped this first mid very convincingly.
Not too late to plonk your channel points on there, guys, as Haunts and Kaline put in a really convincing shift. Such a beautifully synchronized bomb following up on the really huge damage on Lacunia applied by Cooney there. Means it was just so easy for them, and managing to keep TXX out of the jaws of Alba as they tried to salvage at the end there. Sweden set up on last. They've got the engineer, and Portugal sort of need to get unstuck here. They want to sort of pile forward as quickly as they can, but their health not ideal right now.
Yep, they just bowing and buffing up. They need to not fail this one. An early advantage would be so nice for them here. They do make it through without popping. They now use onto Cooney in 31. They're not bombing it forwards though, as of yet. They do just take down the sentry gun now. They are starting to play the point a little bit. Onkaya gets blown up trying to defend it. And now the bomb's in from Colline. Not quite enough. Cooney last one alive, 20 HP. TXX running away for his life. He's already put a decent amount of distance between him and the enemy team. Ombra looked like he spotted him, but he knows he can't chase that far. And now it's a fail for Portugal on their back foot already.
Yeah, Alba was just slipping around in that up area, managed to get a really early kill on Horns and sort of eliminate Portugal's chances of taking that high ground. And speaking of high ground, Sweden have all of it here. Completely pressure Portugal out. Horns tries to get in on Lacunia, hits a nice rocket, but ultimately with his team scurrying for this yard area, you're not going to get that force off, as Sweden have a 40% Uber advantage and are making their way into this flank side yard now. Just Wild Piggy there to return.
Yep, they look like they're ready to bust it. They're going so far forwards already into Lunchbox, kind of splitting off Portugal from their own point, and that lets them get the second point easily in their own hands. The Uber is up for Portugal though, and Cooney is going so low, he does actually lose his life, getting a bit too big for his boots, trying to defend there. Alba takes that opportunity to bomb in, but he doesn't really find anything. Wild Piggy has fallen as well in the meantime. Now a trade on last. It definitely favours Sweden. There's so many flashes on the Portugal side. They just want to clean up Swee. He's dodging and juking for so long. He nearly gets out the window, but he does eventually fall. And now Portugal definitely want to get onto second while they can. The debt is missed from Smear. Not going to find 31 there, but 31 is in high waters now.
Oh,
he does manage to survive. Yeah, he just manages to weasel out of there.
Yeah, really impressive out of Portugal there. Managed to keep TXX alive at those all-important moments, riding their player advantage forward and managing to pressure Sweden out at this point, but Collider comes straight in there. His 2 rockets onto Lacunia. There's no follow-up just yet, but he's got another crack at the egg, manages to get him. Swede going down to Colline as well, and Horns picking up Alba too. Means it's a really quick and swishy one out of Portugal here. Sweden suffering victim to those really huge spawn waves and gonna lose these forwards, and it's gonna have to be a last from them here. Just Ombra on that point and Unkaya in that forwards, but does get spotted by Horns.
Yeah, Kaya just trolling them for a bit, but trolling will not be enough. They need to mount that defense again that we saw before, and I'd like to see Portugal take this Uber a bit deeper, maybe bomb forwards rather than waste 4 seconds of it just kind of waddling and walking. They really need to be proactive, get that sentry gun down, get that demo down, and get on the point. Those are the 3 main bullet points as we do a bit of fast coaching on the cast here. Here they go with their second Uber attempt, ready to walk this one forwards. It's a 50% ad now. In from lower left, they bomb straight forwards on Cooney this time, but the sentry gun kind of denies the bomb. They do take down the sentry gun swiftly. Alba once again up top is going to find Colline for free, bombing forwards into the combo now as Haunts tries to put some pressure on the point, but it seems like Sweden are overwhelming them again. Cooney the only one left alive in last, and once again Sweden are just too much for Portugal.
There's no consideration of the post-Uber out of Portugal. They've never got any high ground, and they're just allowing Alba to do whatever he wants in the upper area. He's just slipping away, managing to get a frag and surviving on near full HP. Colline has opted for the spy, which is what I'm certainly going to be tuning into as he slips on the back of Lacunia, but there's a scout right behind him, and his opportunity has been completely squandered there by Ombra. Portugal just going to have to back out of the back of that. Good thinking. It certainly drained enough time for it to be equals in this yard, just 10% away now are Portugal. Sweden
but they're
just
going
out
fast.
that gap.
Smear just bombs forwards anyway. He doesn't care how small the ad is.
99.
TXX gets it in time this time. Manages to keep it alive. And they are running this Uber forwards, but they're not managing to find anyone. And in the meantime, Sui and Smear have busted the flank. They find Haunts. TXX falls to Onkaya after the Uber. So does 31. Onkaya just farming from the front. And now everyone on Portugal is dead. It's over. This is going to be second capped up easily. No one's even going to spawn in time for last by the looks of it. Sweden just running this one forwards. They're already on the point. Easy first round for Sweden. Eventually, 6 minutes in. And Portugal, they had it so close twice already. They've been pushing into last with full ads and not managing to come out on top.
Yeah, some really solid lesson learned out there. I think they're maybe falling victim to sort of overprotected TXX. It just means they're balling up and just getting completely crunched by the bombs out of Sweden. But it seems to be working for them. You know, they're getting the opportunities they never had before. They have actually seen Sweden's side of the map, which is pretty incredible. So it is going to be the second mid here. Smear, of course, significantly faster up on this sort of top crate area. And it's going to be a bit of a slower one. A really early bomb out of Onkaya. Ultimately lands on the lamp there. Does try and do what he can, but they've got all the high ground control, have Sweden. But they haven't got the health. They're just getting completely chunked by Piggy and 31 here. A real quick wipe there, managing to get Lacunia as well. Just Smear left behind out of Sweden. Is he going to cause a ruckus?
These are the two people we told you to have your eyes on, and Portugal definitely do right now. Sui initiates the fight on the point. He gets taken down though. Smear walking forwards. He doesn't find anything either. So Portugal managed to keep that one alive. Very nice job from Sweden to at least delay the midpoint a bit, but Portugal, come on, you know what I'm going to say. You've got to get this last conversion in now. 100% advantage again. And it looks like they're going fast. The sniper is right there. That's going to be an easy free fast pick onto Alba. But the sentry gun still up, still guarding that point. It does go down now. There is still a good defense from Sweden.
Gets destroyed. Oh my god, they're coming in. Portugal tries to do what they can, but Sweden again emerging victorious. I can't believe they keep getting away with it. They even had Smear down. They had the full Uber advantage. The sniper died early. The stars had aligned for Portugal to take it, and it just completely slips.
Yeah, it seems like they are trying to go for the point while still Ubered a bit too early, or something like that that's just wasting their time. Oh my goodness, Sweden are already in. They could catch everyone here. But in fact, no, they do get spammed down and have to back out. Ombra, very, very low, does catch a bow to keep himself alive. And things are slowing down, but now, oh no, Cooney has fallen, Sui is in, he sees the medic. And the Ubers as well, they can't go back close. Portugal could make a devastating mistake here. The Uber is out, they find Colline. But there's two players in behind Haunts and Piggy, straight on the back cap. They utilize this flank.
Ooh.
Kaya too low to really block this. He has to kind of bluff them out. He does also fall. He's brought a lot of players back. The second point is actually capped. Piggy needs to try and get something done here. He does just escape with his life. That's good enough. Bringing that back from the clutches of defeat.
Yeah, 2 lives for a point is certainly a wager I would take there. And they have actually got Sui in this drop down area for Sweden once again TXX drops.
No, the trap just finds TXX so easily. You need to be sniffing those traps out, especially here on Granary. So many nice spots for it. And then Sui, of course, from drop down, just claims what is rightfully his, aka every player he can see. But Colline behind again.
Look at Haunts.
Oh, and Haunts on the lamp. 2 players to watch at once.
Oh,
he finds the
drop onto Lacunia.
And Colline's on the back cap already.
Oh,
he's already got half this point capped up. They're all having to run back as fast as they can. He gets the cap. He's already on to last. Will he be able to get it in time? No one can block it quite in time. Swee's running forwards. He does manage to get the kill eventually. But again, Portugal, this gives them such an opportunity, especially with Lacunia falling on mid there. That was both soldiers from Portugal just having monumental plays at exactly the same time. And if that's what it takes for Portugal to get around, then fair enough. Swede barrels his life forward, seeing what he can try and get again, but he falls. And now second back in control of the red team.
Yeah, the 2 soldiers of Portugal going huge there. They were just a plank of wood and a nail away from managing to lock off that last point. The cap time was huge out of Colline, ultimately not coming good there. But what they have got is a 40% Uber advantage. They're in this up area again. They've got to be really careful not to be shut down by Alba again, and Colline dies near imminently. to Portugal as they try and get this Uber across point. They've managed to get Alba, and they've got good cap time as well. They're all collapsing, so this is really good sort of hunting season for Portugal to shut them down, and the damage is just there. They played the high ground, they played the time, they forced Sweden to make the decision in dropping down to point, and they managed to let themselves the round off of, you know, I must comment again, a really huge place by both Corns and Kaline there, so solid work. I hope to see this continue as they've managed to sort of level the playing field now.
Yeah, but it takes a hell of a lot if both of your soldiers need to go huge like that, and then you still only have a 25% conversion rate into the enemy last. It's still very difficult for Portugal, but they're proving at least there is life in their blood yet. There's huge fast bomb forwards from Sweden. They get so many frags. Swede just cleaning all of this damage up as well. Everyone was so low immediately after those bombs. Colline on top, not managing to play around the height, gets knocked off and falls to his death. Smear already barreling forwards. If he can trap the spawn door and convince someone to walk into it by accident, this could be a free frag onto Cooney. It looks like he knows he's baiting out the stickies. Smear debts those off there. But either way, it looks like it's Sweden's second. It's going to be even Ubers, which does give an opportunity for Portugal to try and contest should they please.
Yeah, it seems to be, you know, really sort of fast mid conversions here. As soon as the soldiers from Portugal high bomb, the mid's over by the time they land. And Sweden with that just charging forward, apply a bit of pressure to second, forcing Portugal to make decisions constantly. Do we contest? Do we not? Do we take this cap? Do we back out? And they're doing it once again as they're pressuring out into this lobby area now.
Yeah, there is pressure from behind though. Kaya finds two beautiful frags, and that just leads the dominoes to fall as everyone can barrel forwards. If they find TXX here, surely that's the nail in the coffin,
No.
and he does on Kaya, just goes huge, getting three critical frags, and now they're already on the last, capping everything up. Sweden can capitalize off one mistake so easily.
Yeah, really huge direct out on Kaya, just 16 HP, hops up on that little concrete block and hits a lovely direct onto TXX there. So netting themselves a really early return there, Sweden. 2-1 up. 70 minutes left in this map. It's certainly anyone's game, but Portugal are going to need to sort of play like they did in that second one a little bit more.
Yeah, Portugal need to not get destroyed by Onkaya, really. And we'll see if if this mid is any different. Looks a bit slow for Sweden as of so far, but they do bomb forwards now. Onkaya finds Cooney immediately. TXX stuffed in the corner.
Oh,
Smear just trying to bottle people down. Just eventually does get taken down, but it's Sweden the 2v1. He's dangerous. He gets the first frag. Just playing, baiting. Oh, and 31. As soon as he turns his back to go for the health kit, Swede just assassinates him with bullets in the back. Beautiful from Swede there, and now he does, of course, claim victory of this midpoint. Sweden still in the driving seat.
Yeah, it's getting closer for Portugal though. Just 4 hit points separated them from mid-victory that time around. As they have got some sort of healthy spawners coming out now, but Sweden are there ready to meet them, and they're just going to have to back into yard here, try and build the Uber up. It is evens right now. 16 minutes left, only 1 round down. You don't need to take risks that are that huge. It's just about not letting things slip for more than a point at a time and not allowing Sweden to sort of execute the game plan to the extent they want.
It's so fun just watching Swede poke his head into a door and think, you can see the cogs turning. Can I just run in for free and get a kill here? As he was just peeking through choke there, spamming a bit of pistol. Instead, it's a bomb from Alba. Manages to get up high in the sky, but Colline will shut that one down easily. And a completely failed bomb from Alba doesn't even get 2 feet out of the choke.
Of course, though, Sweden not really in a position, you know, they don't have to make these mistakes, or sort of make these risks, and Horns tries to get in.
The
on the kill, it
force!
does get the force.
That seemed
Really
like
surprising.
yeah, it didn't seem like a great force from Sweden there, and now the Uber off immediately. They need to get frags though, and they don't seem to be finding many. Portugal now do collapse and finally get Lacuna and Smear. They don't manage to keep their own medic alive, and in fact, everything is tilting the other way now.
Oh my god, no, Albert gets straight
in the air.
Oh, yeah, and really nice rocket there, but was completely returned by Galine, and ultimately it does die to the all-important gravity. And Sweden making their way onto the second point. Such weak players once again against Horns, but it looks like they're both sort of biding their time, playing it slow. They don't want to lose any more numbers because this could spell bad for both teams here.
Crits again for Sweden. We've seen this a couple of times already. They do have an advantage from it. Smeer, though, not in an ideal position, but they're not able to capitalize on the side of Portugal. But right now, in Portugal's brain, you're thinking, this is even Ubers. It's slowing down for a bit. We can wait out, you know, get the Ubers up and ready to go. Piggy gets trapped in that corner, and now, any second now, we should see the wrath of Smeer with this crits creep. There's a bomb in from Kaya, who just instantly gets taken down, and the crits are out. It doesn't quite work out too well this time, though, as the bomb comes forward from Colline, and in fact, everything going Portugal's way, they don't manage to get anything at all.
Yeah, the scout surviving. That was really peculiar timing there. The bomb seemed to almost pressure the medic out there, really not achieving what Sweden wanted there. And Acuna going down really early to that bomb did not bode well for them. So Portugal sort of have a free reign now on this mid cap. Just Sui left to spawn from Sweden, so they're all going to be up in this yard area. And I can imagine they might even look to contest mid as Onkaya's in it near instantly.
Yeah, all the players just force out the Uber from sheer panic on Portugal's side, and they still manage to drop Haunts. Unfortunately, this is not good for Portugal. Again, Onkaya manages to get the rebomb in. Sui very, very tunneling onto the medic, and he does manage to find it once again, baiting these two scouts to try and chase him, taunting them to come back for him, as he's now running all the way back around, finds Haunts' back, takes that little 1v1 for a second, and he's just able to slither out of there, this sneaky weasel.
Even when he's in, he's not in. How can he keep getting away with it? Can somebody just put a tracker on this man, get him gone.
Yeah, get an electronic tag on his ankle, make sure you always know where he's at. But again, Sweden with the advantage here. Haunts and Piggy trying to just stuff them in garage, give them no opportunity to get out. Colline landing on top of Smeer. But any second now, the Uber could just come out, and if they find the frags, it would be great for Sweden. In fact, though, they do just get enough damage. Haunts in with a... Oh, he doesn't manage to get the Market Gardener in time. And, yeah, that's allows Sweden to maintain this Uber advantage. Oh, there was a sticky trap that Lasunia just stood on for a good few seconds, but Cooney had no eyes on it, didn't quite get it in time, and now the Uber is out, coming straight forwards into the side of Portugal. Will they find the frags that they need with this Uber? Looks like Cooney going to be the one to fall. And now there is the Uber for TXX. They need to repeat what just happened to them, flip-flop back onto the point. Running this one forwards with two scouts. They do manage to just push them out to yard. Easy kill onto Smeer as he just gets decimated by both scouts. But there's too much distance between everyone else.
Yeah, two very similar Ubers there. Cooney so far forward, got the early pop out of Sweden, which served Portugal well because they just popped into a single down man. What's he going to do? He's a bit of a wet blanket at that point, and then the same coming out of them. But what they have managed to do is lock out this second. But in doing so, handing Sweden a 50% advantage as the spam's coming out and Shutter
is hiding in old forwards. Haunts could just walk forwards now and find the medic from behind. Everyone's walked past him. No one's even got their eyes on drop down or old forwards. He does start to make his move, but Sui is already on last, baiting all of Portugal back in the meantime. And Haunts does find Smeer, so Sui and Smeer down, the two star players for Sweden, you could say, allows this to come forwards, but the Uber is against them. The Uber popped off now. Kaya finds Colline on the back lines. Cooney going to fall to the Uber as well, and Alba straight onto TXX's head, not going to find the frag. Haunts still behind, does pick up Kaya as well, so this is really nice for Portugal.
Yeah, of course, ultimately, it doesn't matter how many frags they convert on last. If that second is not capped, you're there for the wrong reasons. And Haunts putting in a really solid display there, managing to pick up two frags, completely causing chaos, and Sweden did not know how to react to it.
Yeah, and now busting straight forwards onto middle. Smeer caught between a rock and a hard place, but manages to get out anyway. He will fall eventually to this Ubercharge. Sui once again scurries his way behind and finds a free two-shot kill onto Cooney. Now fighting against Colline, he could even get that as well, but no, he does eventually get taken down, but it's enough delay to let these soldiers come in. Kaya and Alba find their way onto the medic instantly, and now they have the player advantage and the heals advantage for these two scouts as well. Just need to take them down, and that's easy pickings for Ombra and Kaya. And that's going to be Sweden walking forwards once again with not only a full player wipe, but the Uber advantage as well. Haunts wants to change that. Again. Yeah, he's sneaking around behind.
I mean, as good as this is, you know, saying that, he's really sort of in salvage mode, which is really not what you want at sort of at this level of play. You want to be taking those solid points. It looks like he's sort of out on his own quite a lot of the time, which I think a lot of teams in the Nation Cup, certainly with sort of the more experienced players, they've fallen victim to trying to be the hero a lot. And Sweden Uber in straight away here. Meer is on the high ground, managed to get the gun down, completely incapacitating Haunts as well. They've got full complete control of this high ground. Oh my god, that was 2 insane pipes to on to Klein, managing to pick him off Near instantly. They're playing the point. Just one player in Cooney left alive, and Sweden managed to convert their 3rd round now. Portugal just lying on a paltry 1.
Yeah, that was a masterclass in what to do with your Uber. They were pushing Portugal so far back towards the spawn doors, rather than when we've seen Portugal's Ubers, for example, on to last. They just kind of stand around the point, don't take any much more ground than they need to, and then kind of wait for their own Uber to run out while they're all clustered on the point. Whereas Sweden, they know if you can push them back that far, there's no way they even contest the point, as we are into this 5th mid now. Immediately, a bomb forwards from Onkaya finds Cooney and TXX once again. Haunt's not able to reply onto the enemy med or demo. Oh, Smear with the prediction pipe and then bombs. Oh my god, Smear! Beautiful pipes from him. The taunt to finish it off. Swag at the end. Incredible.
A very reasonable taunt, I would say. Fair play to it. He's gone huge on the last 2 sort of states of play in this one, and again, he's looking to keep driving that momentum forward. He has a locked out second. His team has a full Uber advantage in hand, and they're going to look to replicate the same level of success they did last time. Kaline really far forward for Portugal here. Going to have to be careful not to get caught out. We see Alba's a bit of a gremlin in these upper areas, and he can certainly ruin any game plan you might have, as Sweden are just collecting themselves on this left side.
Yeah, once again, Smear gets skyboxed by the stickies, but they're running your Uber forwards anyway. 31 going to be the heavy to fall first. Onkai has been picked out of the sky, and now there's already a bit of cap time in from Sui, but the players aren't really making as much space as they did last time. Alba kind of rockets himself trying to jump up there, and yeah, he's going to get taken down. Ombra and Smear, last one's alive, just getting destroyed in the choke, catching all of those pipes, and now Smear getting hunted down. He's going to get caught as well. And Lacunia, will he be able to escape from this scout? I doubt it. Piggy hunting him down. He does get the med pack, and Sui is here to defend him.
We do see a spy though on Kaya. Cloak and dagger in yard. He's not interested in this last point whatsoever. Can imagine he's going to look to try and get on a TXX, but he just pops out on mid on his own. Is it Sweden having a bit of a melee? Lacuna tries to get in the forward spawn, ultimately does not get it. Smear's lying about there as well, but doesn't quite come good for Sweden as they lose 3. I've got a spy on the back cap though. 31 is there to have something to say about it, but they sent 3 players back there.
They
so
sent all
if nothing
players
else,
back.
it certainly slowed them down.
Yeah, Portugal literally had 5 people desperate to hunt down that spy on second. Smear also in the forward spawn as well, hiding. There's no way they expect this, but he does show his face now, and they will be able to easily force him to back spawn. But all of that delay just from Kaya on the back cap does leave a bitter taste in their mouth. Sui is hiding. Everyone's just walked past him.
Oh, not again.
He can get Collide for free, and he does. Only 2 shots is all that's required.
He's looking for Haunts as well, who has just spawned, and we know how Soldier versus Scouts goes. Haunts needs to do something huge, and he hits a direct onto Sui.
But we know how Haunts versus Sui goes. He's hit those nice directs onto Sui plenty of times so far. This is a very small ad they're going off. They need to find the Sunya immediately. They've bombed forwards. He's so low. He's 92%. They need to find the Sunya. They don't manage to yet. 31 finally gets it, but they've thrown away so much for it. Will they be able to convert?
Just Smear a nice arrow onto 31. It seals the deal. A bit of a tight one considering the circumstances, but Portugal ultimately coming good, and we really do have a game in our hands. Now 6 minutes left.
I
Just
love that
one
from
round
Portugal.
separates these 2 teams. That's phenomenal.
It looked like Sweden kind of expected them to just treat that as even. They kind of weren't keeping a keen eye on Portugal's ability to just go balls to the wall with that tiny 8% advantage, and Portugal managed to get it done, which is so nice to see. 5 minutes left. They still have a chance to take this to our 3rd map.
And that's what we all want to see here, but really concentrate mid out of Portugal just means they get chunked so early at the start. The double bomb does come out, but the damage has already been done to their team, losing so many numbers. Just 2 players left, while Piggy and Haunts ultimately going to get picked off. As we said, these mids, they're so fast. By the time that Kaline and Haunts hit the floor, Sweden has already killed sort of 2 or 3 players out of Portugal. It's really sad to see, because you know, they're doing work with it.
even that time, Kaya took a lot more time than he usually does to dispatch of the enemy combo. He was missing a few rockets, kind of staring them down and having to reload, but just his ability to live so long, I don't think the scouts are dealing with it quite well enough, because he was able to pretty much stare a medic in the face, reload the rockets, and still get the kill. Cooney, again, as you say, these players just in salvage mode, trying to do whatever they can, but he kills himself with his own stickies instead, and now with no demo on last, that's your most important player who's just thrown his life away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really the stage of the game where they need to be doing that. It's only one round between them, but the Uber coming out of Sweden really early gets TX exit down, and they are domineering in this right side here, just crushing the remaining Portuguese players, making it so easy for them. Cooney does spawn, but ultimately not going to be able to close that distance, and Sweden pick up a really quick round there. Portugal just falling victim to sort of trying to be the heroes at all the wrong points there, and they've sort of let a really winnable game sort of slip there in the last sort of 4 minutes. It's certainly not mathematically impossible, as we casters would say.
Yeah,
but it's got to be something huge.
Yeah, it's a pretty long rollout considering it's a straight line from last to mid, so they do need to go fast in these rounds here, which is tricky on the 7 CP of Granary as well, as we say. Haunts bombing forwards, immediately destroyed out of the sky, and this is just a 6v5 fight now. The bombs finally coming forwards from everyone on Sweden. There's a crush on the point. TXX and Cooney get mulched, and now it's just the scouts remaining. Colline in behind as well. They do manage to get a rocket into the combo, but that is all that they will find. Portugal just been left in the dust.
It looks like Portugal identified the problem, but came up with the wrong solution there. Instead of going for the tie bombs and being late to the team fights, they went behind instead, which just means you're still not there to support the combo. Taunty on second does allow Albert to slip behind him, knowingly so. He's going to look to cause a bit of a ruckus on this second point, as he is eventually spotted by Ombre, gets picked up by a nice meat shot, but returned by Cooney.
Yeah, Haunts has already used that hiding spot, they knew about it. But it's going their way anyway, but the Uber now out in Sweden's face, and Smear, he knows how to get frags in an Uber.
He certainly does, but it is 4 versus 4, and they've just handed Portugal that advantage. Alba's so weak in the upper area, and a nice bit of battle at the demo men. The plank of wood with a bit of nail on it has managed to pick up a frag, and Portugal resigning themselves to last with 2 numbers down. They have opted for the sniper as well in Wild Piggy.
Yeah, you don't need to be a demolitions expert, just pop a nail in some wood and whack him in the head, innit?
Exactly, mate. But obviously it's a really sort of slow approach for Portugal, and with sort of waiting so long to apply that pressure, allowing both teams to get their spawners, and of course losing 2 players to one of Smear's traps is sort of making this game impossible to win. Now
yeah,
2 minutes on the clock.
Well. The Uber is out, but 99 for Lacunia, they use off as well, and I believe that's a GG coming out from the Portuguese side there, or was that a back cap? Did I miss this?
It was a back cap.
It was a back cap.
Yeah. Onkai was on it in isolation. Portugal fouled everyone up, and Onkai was just sitting like sitting on last. So it's just gonna be for the fun of it here. I'm sure we'll see some funny loadouts. We are seeing the sticky jumper out of Cooney. He's going really deep into choke. He has been spotted, however. He's on Lacunia, hits the one pipe. Oh, and the second! It's all for show, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's not enough though. There is obvious. Wait, how's this gone so much better for them? Maybe Sweden aren't trying. Maybe they should have pulled out the sticky jumper from round 1. Ombra in behind, seeing what he can get. But it is over. Obviously, this is not possible. 3 rounds in 1 minute, and there's nothing to worry about. If you're a Portugal fan, you're going to be seeing more of Portugal. They're still in the tournament. They have survived, but they will have a potentially harder matchup in their first round of the bracket.
Against France.
Are they against France? They're the loser, so I assume they're against Poland, and the winner
apologies,
is against Netherlands.
Netherlands, apologies, yeah. I don't know, I think that might be a close one, Netherlands versus...
Netherlands, Sweden it will be. That could be a very interesting game.
I think there's going to be a lot of exciting matchups coming into this round of 16. Certainly be very telling of where EU TF2 is at. It's certainly not quite an ample replacement, but it's pretty close to sort of superseding another EU LAN. But we'll take it for now. It's the best we can get. And, you know, as the clock ticks down, just 3 seconds remaining, game ultimately has ended. Sweden emerge victorious and netting themselves 5 rounds. Portugal picking up 3 in the end. Of course, the last 2, I suppose you could probably discount a little bit of trolling on both sides.
Yeah, I'd say this game probably ended at 4-2 if we're being serious about the score. But either way, Sweden obviously the better team tonight, managing to take the enemy pick very convincingly. They're going to be taking that number 1 seed in Group E, which will allow them to play against the Netherlands, as we just mentioned, in the first round of the round of 16 playoff bracket that we have coming up. Yeah, let's see if TXX managed to stay alive any more than last time.
He does. Just 2 more deaths than Lacunia, netting himself 13, Lacunia on 11. Of course, the 2 stalwarts of Sweden, Meer and Sui, getting 350 and 323 damage per minute, respectively.
Good stuff. We'll have to find out in the coming weeks. We'll be covering more of the Nations Cup 8 here on Crits Cast. Playoff stages beginning very soon. Obviously, follow us on Twitch to find out when that happens. We'll have VODs from the games we cover going up on YouTube. And you can also follow our Twitter, sub to our Patreon, and get in our Discord.
Yeah, it's all good. You know where you can support us. You know where you can watch us. You know, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Much thanks to Bum for being my co-caster here today. So thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you again. There is so much more Nations Cup left to come. It is number 8. We are progressing into the best of 16 next, and we thank you all for watching. Cheers.
Hi, old beaver! Away!